Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, and hello. This is the session about the annual plan for the Wikimedia Foundation, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I wanted to start first with an introduction. So my name is Mayur, and I'm half Rajasthani. Any Rajasthanis in the house? Make some noise.
No.
There's one.
There's one.
There we go. I'm also half Punjabi. Any Punjabis in the house? We live up to our stereotype. But being a half Rajasthani, half Punjabi, I'm also a full Delhiite. Any Delhiites in the house? There we go. So, in this session, अगर आप हिंदी में बात करना चाहें तो हम हिंदी में भी बात कर सकते हैं. उर्दू में कुछ मसला अगर हो तो वो भी हम कर सकते हैं. थोड़ी थोड़ी पंजाबी विच गलना भी कर सकते हैं, पर थोड़ी थोड़ी. And of course English. So for any of those that didn't understand any of those, we can talk in Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, or English. Bear with me, as I kind of mistranslate. But we can have all of those languages when we have this session. If you have a question, you want to make a point, do it in the language you feel comfortable in. This is a very special session for me because whilst my role is global, I'm the Director of Movement Communications for the Foundation. This is my home community. And we've all not had a chance to meet for 7 years. I know we've kind of made this point many times, but I really wanted to take just like 1 minute to celebrate everyone who's here, all the attendees. You've taken time away from families, you've come maybe to a new city for the first time, figuring out the travel, whether to take the bus or the auto. Everyone was on that Telegram channel when we were trying to get here. So yeah, I just wanted to take a moment of applause for all the organizers and all the attendees. Right, so we're going to talk about the annual plan for the foundation, and I'm going to introduce Lisa. Lisa is our Deputy CEO for the Wikimedia Foundation. She's also the Chief Advancement Officer. She's been with the Wikimedia movement for over a decade. I'll let Lisa introduce herself, but one thing I did want to say is that she is a big friend of the region and has traveled a long way to kind of be with us today. But I'm really happy to kind of have Lisa here to talk about the annual plan. So over to you, Lisa.
Thanks to all of you. I'm very excited to be here. This is, as Mayor said, I am a big fan. I would describe this as a region of doers. And it's very clear when you go and you see the showcases, just the initiative that you all take to do amazing things. You come up with ideas, you try them, and then here you are sharing what you're learning with others. And it just strikes me when I see all that you've done and see all these amazing projects that you're doing, and you've done this without this connection, right? Without being able to hear from others and get ideas from others in person. And I'm just energized by what you're going to be able to do when you go home, having built all these connections. And I'm just curious, as Mira said, I've been in the movement for a long time, and I see some familiar faces, but I also see a lot of new faces, a lot of folks that I've never met before. And I'm just curious, can everyone stand who this is your first Wikimedia conference, WikiConference that you've ever been to? Stand up. Wow, that's like half the room. So, and that, let's just do this too. So that's remarkable. We mostly have newcomers. I think that's a really good sign. In this movement, even during the pandemic, right? In the last few years, just when we think about what we've been through, it's really remarkable. And we are so glad you're here. those that have been with us for a while, and those of course that are new. Just to say a little bit about myself and what I lead at the foundation. So as Mayor mentioned, I'm the deputy CEO, which means I'm sometimes the stand-in for the much more talented and articulate Mariana. So I apologize that you're getting me and not her, but she had a family obligation this weekend. And I also lead the advancement department, which is a funny word, I know, but I'll just tell you a little bit about what the department does. We lead fundraising, and we also lead a bunch of the teams that you interact with, the partnerships team, the community resources team, the program team, and a lot of the folks from the advancement department here today. Just because it's after lunch, I always do this. I make people stand up a lot when I talk after lunch to keep you all awake. Can everyone from the advancement department at WMF stand up so you can see who they are? All right, these are my peeps. Oh, and a newcomer. They're here to help you. They're here to answer questions that you may have as the weekend goes by. But now I'm going to jump into what the session's about and what we're here to talk about, which is the annual plan for the Wikimedia Foundation. For those of you that are new, every year the Wikimedia Foundation writes an annual plan of the work that we plan to do for the coming year, for the movement, for the projects. A lot of it is about the technology that the Wikimedia Foundation supports, but it's also about the support that we give to the community. Why don't we jump into the slides here? Oh, do I have it?
You can have it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do it. Good. Okay. So first, let me talk a little bit about the history, especially for those of you that are new, which is a lot of you. We have done a lot of things as a movement to kind of set the strategic direction where we want to achieve in the world. In 2017, we being the movement, not the foundation, set a strategic direction. And two of the key pillars in the strategic direction were around knowledge equity and knowledge as a service. And then we came up with some more specific movement strategy recommendations. So this annual plan is always anchored in these higher level things that we decide together as a movement. And what we do, and we've done this in different iterations every year, but we write a plan, the foundation writes a plan, and then we put it out for all of you to comment, to tell us what you think. We iterate, we make changes based on your comments, and then, we finalize it, like in June. The board votes on it. So right now, we're in the phase where we've written a plan, we've put it out there, and we're letting you tell us what you think about it. So I'm going to give you just kind of an overview of the plan, and then we're going to hear from you about what you think. All right, next slide. Oh, actually, I'm doing this. Okay, so in our planning process, what we start doing is by looking at external trends, right? What's happening in the world that we need to be paying attention to? As I said earlier, we anchor this in movement strategy. What we decided this year is that for the foundation, we really need to focus on the technology. That's our primary responsibility in the movement, is making sure that the technology works and that the people are able to actually access the knowledge on the website and through the other projects. And then the last thing is we tried to take a longer view, not just thinking 1 year, but thinking multiple years, and thinking about a lot of the financial trends that we're seeing in the world right now, and adjusting kind of our growth rate, really stabilizing what we're doing, and thinking longer term. So let's talk a little bit about the external trends. The key trends that we saw, there's tons of trends happening in the world, but we kind of zeroed in on 3 to focus, which is that search is changing, right? And how people use search is changing. A lot of Wikipedia's success has been, that people go to Google, they search a term, and Wikipedia is really high up there in the search results. They click on that, they find the content they want, they come to Wikipedia and they read the articles that you all write. Search is changing, right? Search is in decline. Younger audiences in particular are going to other places to get knowledge. That could be video, that could be TikTok, that can be other things. The other big change is around AI. And we were involved in AI as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. The second trend that we were focused on is one that's been going on for a while, is around misinformation and how we combat that specifically on Wikipedia. And then the third trend is just around regulation. Laws are changing, there's big changes coming out of numerous countries, the EU, around the world, and we have to make sure our voice is heard in that and also adapt to changes that come our way. So let me talk about the high-level goals. These are the 4 goals that we're focused on. Equity, as I said, this is one that shows up in the strategic direction, knowledge equity, knowledge as a service, safety and inclusion, protecting our people and projects, and effectiveness. So just to say more around knowledge equity, this is around equity in decision making, and it's about using this regional approach that we've talked about, making sure that the strategies that we are supporting are developed at the local level, at the regional level, and that we're not doing kind of a one-size-fits-all, that we're adapting what the kind of support we provide region by region. Around infrastructure, this is around improving the user experience, particularly for editors, and editors that have particular roles, such as admins. Around safety and inclusion, this is, again, related to that external trend I mentioned around defending against disinformation and also making sure that our voice is heard when new laws are being formed. And around effectiveness, this is just about iterating and adapting our processes, how we work as an organization to improve what we do day in and day out. Okay, this is one I want to share with you. The plan that we've put out there is long. It's an 80-page plan. So I don't expect you all to read it. But this is the one section I would love for you all to read, because I think at the end we can talk about this. This is what we've talked about for your region in the draft, I should say. Let me emphasize draft of the annual plan. I'll just take a minute and let you read it. I won't read it to you. But what we want is to hear from you, because this is just a draft, and we can change any of this. We can have this discussion today, and we can have this discussion on Wiki. We'll share with you the link of where you can comment, because this is your plan, right? This is what we want to help you do in the region, and so it really should come from you. I don't know how quick people are at reading. How are we doing? Tell me when to advance it. Okay to move on? Nod? No? Yes? Okay. All right, and one of the goals I just wanted to say a little bit more about was around infrastructure, knowledge as a service, because I know, like I said, one of our most important goals as the Wikimedia Foundation is to make sure that the experience of using the site, of using Wikipedia, of editing Wikipedia, or contributing to the other projects is a good one, and that we're meeting all of the technology needs. So there's kind of 3 areas that we're focused on there. One is around wiki experiences, And that really is about you all. That is about making sure that editors have the tools they need to do their jobs. The second is around data services. This is doubling down on the analytics that we use to make decisions. And the third is around future audiences. This is thinking about kind of that external trend that I mentioned in the beginning, making sure that we're thinking about how people want to receive the knowledge, how that's changing in the world and how we need to adapt to it. I'll say a little bit about the financial model. I know that's not the most interesting part. What I'm sharing here is the grant-making budget in this annual plan has, as you can see in the last 3 years, we've been really increasing the investment we're making in the communities around the world for their own projects, aside from the technology. But this is for you all. This is for things like this conference, but also grants that people receive. And while the overall budget for the foundation is staying flat this year, we are increasing the support that we give to communities. And I just also want to just reiterate a little bit of what Jorge said here. How we support communities doesn't have to look the same region to region. There's different, in Europe, for example, there's lots of affiliates that they've all set up their own charitable status. It's just a very different landscape than what we have in this region, and it doesn't have to look the same. So we want to hear from you how we can support you, but we've increased the budget in order to do that. And then this is a funny slide. We call this dance partners. This is really talking about how we generate support, financial support for the movement really relates to the product. It relates to how the people out there access the knowledge. So, we raise a lot of money through the banners that are on top of Wikipedia. For a couple weeks every year, we ask people to give. And remember what I said before, that search is declining? We have to think about, we're going to continue to raise money, through banners and through reader donations. We have to start thinking about a world where people might not be accessing knowledge, Wikimedia's knowledge, through Wikimedia sites. They might be accessing it more and more through third parties. And so how do we adapt to that? Two of the ways that we're thinking of doing that is engaging more kind of major donors, more institutional donors like grant-making foundations, as well as Wikimedia Enterprise. Okay. If that was not enough for you, there's an 80-page plan is posted on Meta that you can read. It's great reading. I'm sure you all can't wait to go read it. There's lots of tables and charts and graphs, budgets, the whole bit is there just waiting for you. And I think it's been translated in how many languages?
The whole 80 pages is in about 10, and there's like 30, 10 and 30 depending on which page.
Yeah, I bet you all can't wait to read it. It's there for you, and it's there for you to comment. This is a collaboration, as I said in the beginning. This is just a draft. It's out there for you to review, for you to comment, for you to help us improve it. And we're going to kind of jump into a session now where we get to hear from you and where you get to ask questions.
So does anyone have to the question some context? South Asia is a real powerhouse in the Wikimedia movement. You heard Mariana say at the start of the day, it's in the top 5 by readership, top 5 by contributions. So this is a really kind of important region. Our community is vibrant, and as we heard in the morning, also colorful. So our views really matter. And so one of the things that would be really great to hear, because you heard Lisa talk about the importance of two-way planning. You have a lot of information about the foundation, but what's really interesting is what are your plans for next year? What is your user group thinking, your community thinking? What do you want to focus on next year? Are there any people that want to share kind of what you're thinking? I see a hand there. Let's get a mic.
Tulu community and Tulu Wikipedia and Karavali Wikimedia user groups. Like we planned that digitalization of book as well as like documentation of unrepresented culture. So like how can proceed for the how can approach the foundation?
Bonds we're building through people like Pravin, Rachit, you have the kind of connections you need to have these, start to have these conversations. For this session, we want to hear all the, I was talking about this to someone else earlier and I was like, we can discuss which car we go into later, but let's talk about the destination in this session. So this is great to hear that in your community, that's the destination you want to go to and like we have to figure out the car. So I may not have like a direct answer for that, but I would, invite others to share their destinations, like what are your priorities? If there's anyone else that wants to share. I see another hand, thank you.
My question is that, like, if you see recently some events happen around that the Wikimedia Foundation and the like the topics, like the people who contribute in the technology, they complained about like the Wikimedia Foundation that they are not providing proper resources or the infrastructure to technical projects. So my question is like, what the priorities of WMF in their annual planning to support technology things?
And I will say, just overall, that the foundation is doubling down on supporting technology. Like we see that as kind of our first responsibility. So we have a new CTO, Selena, who started like 9 months ago, I think. And she took some time to kind of understand the state of things and also to hear from her teams and also from the community about what they thought was most important. The top priority is really around improving the tools for editors. So a lot of that is around the tools that admins and other functionaries use, but that's the primary focus for the year. And then the second thing I would say is, there's going to be a little bit of a change in how technical contributors are supported. I think, have you interacted with Birgit's team? Yeah. So Birgit's taking a slightly different role, but is still going to be involved in supporting contributors. It's just going to look a little bit different. But we definitely see technical contributors as an important part of how the technology behind all these projects is developed and improved. Yeah.
Hello, Print. So is there any plan from the foundation as well, like to enable Wikipedia and its users to access the information in a different way, and any plans for the foundation, from the foundation?
Seeing on the internet around chat, GPT and others. So yes, we do have a growing and actually really excellent machine learning team at the foundation. And they've developed a prototype that that draws on Wikipedia knowledge in a natural language processing kind of way, in a way that where the answer, you type a question and the answer that comes back is not just pointing to an article, but it's attempting to answer the question based on knowledge in Wikipedia. it's a prototype, but yes, that is happening. Most of our work around machine learning and AI is about making editors more effective, finding, problems in the encyclopedia, surfacing problems in the encyclopedia to editors is a shorthand way of saying it. So, or vandalism detection, those types of tools. But that bigger play, right, is something that is possible with Wikipedia. Our team, like I say, has a prototype, and we're very much looking into it. I think the key for us is, and I think we all agree, right, that some of these products that have been coming out, they prioritize just giving an answer, even if it's not a correct answer, right? They can't say they don't know, right? And that's just not our way. So, it'd be a very different approach that only answered questions that we actually had the knowledge to answer. And then also, just a really key part of it that you don't get in those tools is verifiability. Like, you can't see what the sources behind where the information is coming from in these answers that are generated. And so that's something too that is just very, very central to our values that would have to be a part of something like that. So thank you for the question. I think Asaf, you wanted to say something.
Technical tools, to expand on what Lisa said, specifically the new technical management, Selena as the CTO, has recognized the existence of technical debt, right? Of things that we really should be getting around to and haven't gotten around to for years. Because there was an appetite to build new features, build new things that are shiny, and not to deal so much with maintaining the infrastructure. So that is changing. There is going to be now an allocation of effort to paying up some of that technical debt, including finding tools and things that are volunteer built that have been abandoned effectively. For whatever reason, the original volunteer can no longer maintain them, and they are constantly breaking and are being fixed ad hoc. So that is a known issue that is in the plan to address. Some of these core tools will find new owners and will get resources allocated. So there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Not asking exactly any question, but I would like to share two projects from my community. One is regarding scanning the old manuscripts, and the other is Punjabi audiobooks. So in the past year, our communities started digitalizing some books or stories from who are already in our Wikisource. So that project we started as a pilot project and then then expanded it. And the other, we started scanning manuscript as a old pilot project. That manuscript are around 400, 500 years old. They are in public domain actually, but they are not in public access. It means they are, some people are caretaking of them in their houses, but lot of people don't know about them exactly. So now what was happening, the condition of books were getting worse day by day, year by year. So the people now decided to scan them so they can preserve them. So this year we are planning to extend this project, and one priority our community is thinking that being a regional community, we have some issues in content like in Wikipedia. Like on one side, we are comparing to English Wikipedia that they have a long article, like if they are writing on any book or any personality, they have fixed headings or they have fixed any kind of template information. But on the Punjabi community or any regional community, I don't think they have any fixed structure. So our Wikipedia has mainly or mostly stub articles. So we don't know exactly how we can fix them or to delete them or to edit them or how to improve them. So this year we are prioritizing to have any fix, any kind of rules or policies so we can start fixing or improving our articles. Thank you.
You know Sadeep very well, and how he's been working on this project called Wikisource Loves Manuscripts. Are you aware of that project? Okay, awesome. Because then that's definitely something that I think people are going to be sharing, and Sadeep is going to be sharing later on the conference, the session. And that's something where if you saw the paragraphs of what we thought was relevant for the planning for the region was finding ways to support this kind of cultural and heritage preservation efforts that folks like you are doing, and how partnerships can support that. So I know that Sadeep started that process with some support and with our partnerships folks, but like the idea is to really see how we can take examples like yours even further. So if any other folks have similar ideas around like how can we partner with institutions that want to help us do cultural and heritage preservations and also enhance the technical tools like Wikisource that sometimes we don't pay much attention to but require a lot of attention from a technical perspective, that's a lot of what we want to hear. So thank you for sharing your perspective there.
Because we found we have a couple of millions in Indic native languages, but very few thousands articles. So we can generate two kind of articles, one with organic, community-driven articles, and one articles can be generated by the structured data sources or any data sources. So there's a possibility to generate a couple of, thousands of articles, lakhs of articles with when you have a nice data, right? So that, because we have a scenario, let us take Olympics, right? Very few people know about Olympic stars when they get medals. But if you take some data from Olympics participant, we can create articles and give it to the local community. Already we create a stub article or some expandable article, so that community will adapt those articles, which is created by the structured data sources or bots, can enhance that articles in a very regional context or very relevant context. So what is their community strategy on that? So what is the plan for increasing local languages like articles, readership and as well as content? Because you experience that it's not going as like English Wikipedia, right? Still we've been started 10 years, 15 years ago, still we are in thousands of articles. So please.
In local languages?
Yeah, I want to know like the community want to start with, they want to take help from structured bots to generate articles, or community want to do everything from the like organically developed by the community, community members. Am I clear? Sorry.
Yes, you are. Runa, well, we've got the expert here, so I'm going to let Runa talk.
Kashyap, clarification, are you then asking the community members? Okay, from the Telugu Wikipedia. So we actually have something in the Wiki Experiences bucket that Lisa showed earlier, which is about generating high impact topics to fill the gap for particularly for geography and gender as highlighted through the movement strategy recommendations. But going back to the point where you're talking about how the community would like to use structured bots. So this is one thing where we have to draw a line in terms of like the foundation cannot go and write content. So we will have to take the opinion of how the community members would really like that facilitated. And I think we will see a variety of options over here based on like how connected or how big or the kind of focus that the individual communities are trying to do for their specific needs. So I think this would be a bit of a bigger discussion, but I'm really glad that you brought this up because as part of that focus area, we will benefit heavily if we continue the conversation in the room with the community members. I hope that helps. Okay.
The Wikimedia Foundation does not have a drawer with secret plans that it is not sharing with you about how to create new articles or something like that. That expertise doesn't actually live with the Wikimedia Foundation. The foundation takes care of raising all the money, keeping the servers running, technology, giving grants, legal support. It's not an expert on writing articles, actually. right? So the experts on writing articles and the experts on getting other people to write articles are in this room. Some of them work for the foundation. I can certainly share my experience with you just because I have done this, not because I work for the foundation, right? So like Runa said, the answers are from your peers here in this conference, people who work for the foundation and have done this. Your grant program officers have a lot of experience and can point you to other people who have had successful writing competitions, not just in India. That would be the source to go to get ideas and inspiration.
The capacity. So the overall the grants process actually currently is actually divided in 7 regions, and South Asia is one of them. And in these South Asian regions, we have a committee who we do the reviews of your grant applications and advise you, recommend you how to better make it better, or maybe you need some more money, you are asking less, maybe you are asking so your budget needs some kind of analysis on that kind of capacity. So when the manuscript and audiobook project actually he pitched that project, it was funded, and we were very happy to see such kind of manuscript and audiobook project is happening. So yes, congratulations to that. So it was a really good thing, and we hope all the best for you, and this is really inspiring work. So that's my 2 cents. My another role is I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm leading the Wikimedia Bangladesh chapter. Let me share what we are doing in Bangladesh and what our plan for the next year. So we have wonderful, motivated, passionate volunteers in Bangladesh, but one of the main, the driving force is the youth. So here in India, I am very happy to see lots of young people is coming here, and in Bangladesh, the situation is similar. Lot of students, lot of young, passionate people are coming to the Bangla community and Wikimedia Bangla. I mean, in Bangladesh, they're very talented and skilled people. Opportunity-wise, wherever we are looking at, it's an open field, and it's a lots of opportunity to grab. So there are a lot of opportunity to, for developing. Okay, hello. Okay. So the problem is the challenge. Hello. Okay, it's coming and going. Sorry. So the challenge we are having right now, the government government regulations, right? Like in India, we have FCRA, the regulation that is a huge barrier for this Indian community to get easier access to the funds. There are in Bangladesh we have similar kind of government regulations like. Am I audible?
Yeah, you take this. Sorry,
Okay, the battery is down. Okay, sorry. So it is very much hopeful that we are having more grants to South Asian. You were allocating that, but this barrier can be a bottleneck for the whole process. So if we cannot find a perfect solution for this kind of heavily government regulations, so that can be a bottleneck to access to the funds. So in South Asia, from grants committee, my work on the grants committee, we are seeing in the every benchmark, South Asia is the least funded region. And the reason behind it, not like we do not want fund, or maybe there is a foundation is not willing to give us fund. The problem is the regulations and those kind of thing which we do not have control over. So, so that is one major bottleneck.